It starts with two ideas. I had this idea for some years that I wanted to do a second stop-motion animated film. I'd done one before, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and that I wanted to do one that was dogs. And I had this thought of a group of quote-unquote alpha dogs, all alpha dogs, who are named Chief, Duke, Boss, King, all named alpha dog names, and that they were living on a garbage dump. I don't really know why that I thought that was good, but that was my feeling. And I brought this to Jason Schwartzman and Roman Coppola, my old friends, two of my closest friends, and we've worked together before on other stories, and told them, and we started talking about it as something to write together. And we quickly brought in the idea. We had talked before about wanting to do something in Japan, and we sort of smashed these two things together. I've spent a bit of time in Japan, but more than my own very limited experiences really in Japan is Japanese movies. That's really the inspiration, and it isn't Japanese movies today. It's Japanese. It's particularly the 50s and 60s. Really, the two greatest inspirations for us. Maybe there's four. There's Akira Kurosawa. There's Miyazaki. There's Kurosawa and Miyazaki. And then there's Hokusai and Hiroshige, the printmakers, and I think our greatest inspirations are those movies and those pictures. The setting is the city of Megasaki, 20 years in the future. The government of the mayor, Mayor Kobayashi, a corrupt and powerful mayor of the city, has launched a campaign to his cat-loving Kobayashi dynasty has launched a campaign to exile the dogs of the city, and the dogs have all been sent to this garbage dump trash island. And the story really begins when the mayor's adopted son, his ward, Atari, flies to the island on a small airplane that he sort of hijacks, and he sets off in search of his bodyguard dog that they had assigned him years before. And the story is really how this group of dogs he meets on the island help him search for his dog. We found this boy, Koyu Rankin, and Koyu, the character's 12 in the script. Koyu was actually 8. Which is much younger than you would ever cast in a live-action movie. Somebody to play a 12-year-old. It's like, it would be like casting a 20-year-old to play a 60-year-old almost. The years make such a difference at that age. But he had he just has a great voice. And the puppet we ended up designing is, I think, inspired by his performance, really. It's inspired by the way he did the character. And I feel like it affected every step of what we did from the moment we recorded him. He has a pride that's not, but it isn't like pride. It isn't the sin of pride. It's more he has, I guess, self-esteem or something, and a belief in what he thinks is right, and so on. And he has a good moral compass in a place that has lost its moral compass. the thing I enjoy in particular about working with the actors for a movie like this is you use the rehearsal. I mean, once they say it in any context, you have it. It's not like there's no set. Nothing has to be technically right except that the microphone, except that somebody had pressed record, basically. And you can use a half a sentence of this. You can use anything anybody says, and we edit it and work with it, and we animate to it, and we use it. So there's such freedom in the way that you're capturing the performances. It's particularly suited to stop motion because when you're animating a puppet to something that it's such a prepared kind of medium, but when a puppet seems to be reacting to something totally spontaneous, even though if you track it back, you realize they had to have this spontaneity a long time before they were animating it, but it still kind of somehow stays in there. That's oddly the thing I like the most about stop motion animation performances, the spontaneity.